Budget 214, I think, was good for the tech industry and for tech businesses. It's very clear that the Minister's focus was on jobs and growth. And in that regard, he brought forward a number of particular measures which I think are of interest to the technology industry. There's probably 5 I'd like to talk about. The first is the employment and investment incentive. That's an incentive where individuals can actually contribute funding to companies and secure tax relief. Now, what the Minister's done is made a slight change to that relief, which will make it easier for companies to access finance, because there will be more people who are able to contribute the maximum amount of funding. The second area is he's introduced a new capital gains tax relief. And what's that? It's essentially a reduced rate of capital gains tax, or a reduced effective rate of capital gains tax, which will apply if people invest in a new business. So that starts if people were to invest in a new business come January, anytime after January 2014, between then and 2018, which actually seems like a long way away now, and they were to hold that business for a period of 3 years. When they exit that business, they're entitled to essentially pay half the CGT than they otherwise would have paid. Now, why has he done that? He's done that to try and encourage entrepreneurs to be ambitious, to start companies and to grow companies. And I think that's really very positive and should encourage more people to be ambitious. The next area is he's introduced a new relief called Start Your Own Business Relief, which is essentially designed to help long-term unemployed people to start up their own business. And the relief and the measure there that's actually being brought in is very generous. What he's saying is, if you start up your own business, you can earn €40,000 per annum for the first 2 years tax-free. And that's pretty good for an incentive. That's a tax break of over €6,000 for a single person. In addition, he has abolished stamp duty for companies that list on the enterprise security market in Ireland. Now, that might be a long way off, but for ambitious technology companies who are looking to grow and who need investment to scale their businesses, they may well have their eye on an IPO. And an IPO here in Ireland on the ESM probably was going to be complex for them. Now what the Minister's done is he has removed one of the barriers to doing that by removing the stamp duty cost. And that's very, very positive. The other area the Minister has focused on is the research and development tax credit. Remember, that's a credit where if a company incurs expenditure on research and development, they essentially get the benefit, they get 25% of that back. They either get that back through their tax, their corporate tax, or if they're loss-making, they get a refund. And what the Minister has done is he's made 3, I call it tweaks to the regime, but certainly they're designed to assist small and growing companies and will be particularly suitable to companies in the technology industry. And the 3 areas he's touched on is he's made it easier to outsource research and development, which is very positive. He's also increased the amount of research and development tax credit that can be claimed on a volume basis. And what he's going to do is to make it easier to pass on that credit to your employees. Last year he introduced a relief, or probably 2 years ago now at this stage, he introduced a relief where you could pass part of that R&D credit onto your employees. The take-up has been pretty low, and what he's going to do is actually introduce measures to encourage people to take up that credit. So all in all, there's been a number of measures introduced in this year's budget, Budget 214, focused on entrepreneurship, innovation, and trying to make more capital available to companies. And I think that the particular measures that I've just discussed with you here today will go a long way towards ensuring that we have more entrepreneurial, innovative, and indeed more Irish and international technology companies located here in Ireland.